My name is Bilkis and I'm the person behind Kisikoso. First, I would like to say thank you so much for 20k on Instagram. I promise you guys, when we hit 20k, I would give you a video explaining all the technical process and the design of this bag. Unfortunately, I lost all the videos that I took when I was making this bag, but I have tons of pics. So sit back and relax, get your food, get comfy, and let's get started. Also, please bear with me if I make some mistakes while I'm talking because English is not my first language. So this bag is actually my final project for art school back in 2022. The general concept of this bag is that I want to combine my clown character and the Stargazer Lily. There's no any deep meaning that is behind the creation of this bag. I just knew that I want my character plastered all over a fashion accessory and make a statement piece. But the problem was, since I majored in textile, they expected us to make something that consisted of fabric. And the thing is, I honestly chose textile just for the fashion. I don't really like using fabric much in my work. I just want to know more about fashion. My initial thought was that anything could be considered as textile, right? Like if there's a woven sheet of metal, wouldn't it be called textile too? So my thought was that I'm just making the same thing. This is made of metal, right? Like the base, just a sheet of metal, and then plastered all over it is just clay sculptures. Wouldn't that just be called textile as well, but made with clay? But my advisor told me no, you should put fabric somewhere. I was very stubborn. I didn't want to add fabric on my clay sculptures. But at the end, after a lot of back and forth, I decided to put fabric for my characters here. At the end, I'm very glad that I listened to my advisor because I think it gives variation of textures that I think is very cool compared to if I just only make it with clay. Okay, let's get into the making process of this bag. The main material for this bag, especially for the sculptures, it's resin. Resin is not something that you can sculpt. It's a casting result. And why I didn't just use clay for this bag is that because clay is not a very strong material. So if I want this bag to be very durable, I need it to be made with resin. But the tricky part with resin is that it's very heavy. So I need to make them hollow. I actually sculpt the base in big clumps of clay, put it in the oven, and then I layer a sheet of aluminum on top of the clay that has been baked, and then I put another layer of clay. And then I put it back again in the oven. Once it's back, I could just scrape out all the clumps of clay under the aluminum and then scrape out the layer of aluminum sheet as well, and then I would get the outmost layer of the sculpture. Next, I'm going to talk about the fabric explorations that I did. The first thing that I experimented was textured fabric. I tried a lot of knit fabric and then denim, but the problem with those very thick and textured fabric is that it really covers the shape of the sculpture. And another problem with buying colored fabric right from the store is that it's very difficult to get the colors that actually match your color palette. And this bag was actually made during COVID, so I could really go out, I buy everything online. It was very hard to get the perfect color match. So I discarded that option and tried another type of fabric, which is the very thin fabrics, satin, cotton. The problems that I faced, the edges of the fabric frayed so much. And the second one is that since I stick all the fabric on the sculptures with super glue, since the fabric is very thin, it leaves a wet patch that I did not want. And the third problem, it's actually the same as the textured fabric. I couldn't get the color to match my color palette. So I thought, what fabric that I could color with acrylic paint, a paint that I'm very comfortable with and that I use very often. And then it struck me, why didn't I just use canvas? That is a fabric as well, is it not? So once the canvas is airbrushed with acrylic paint, it made the canvas very elastic. So it was a lot more easier for me to stretch out the fabric so that it matches perfectly with the surface of the sculpture. And then the second thing is that the color matches perfectly with my color palette. And then the third one, the edges doesn't fray because it dries. And then the fourth one is that since it dries like a rubber, it doesn't leave a wet patch when I apply super glue on it, which is oh my god, literally fixed all of my problems that I had with my previous fabrics. Besides from using fabric on the hair of my characters, I also applied dyed yarns on the petals of my Stargazer lilies. So what I did to make these yarn is that I bought a ball of cotton yarn. I cut a piece, soak the cotton yarns into a cup of watered down acrylic paint, and then you just have to dry it off with a hair dryer. Okay, now I'm gonna explain the structure of this bag. The base structure of this bag is made up of aluminum sheet. And why aluminum sheet is because I need a strong but light material that could carry all the resin sculptures. To prevent it from looking very, very boxy and sharp, we actually layered all the surface of the aluminum sheet with foam. We wrap it again with canvas because I want to be able to paint all the surface with my paint tip. And last, to secure and to protect all the surface of this bag, we applied matte varnish because we want to prevent it from looking so much like a toy. If we use gloss, it looks so much like plastic, I think. And I think that is it for this video. If you would like to discuss anything about this bag, or if you have any question about this bag, leave your comments down below and I will try my best to answer. Bye!